question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Thursday. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 179 of the Throwdown, where we celebrate the art and sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt. And today we are throwing down with a fellow wrestling podcaster and content creator, Nick Teodoro. Nick and his wife, Nikki, host a really great live stream show on YouTube that takes a fun, happy hour-esque approach to the world of professional wrestling that we all love. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great, Matt. Thank you for that lovely intro.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And for those of you watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. And that contains all, or at least most, of Nick's social media accounts, along with mine. So do us a favor, if you aren't a follower or subscriber, take the time to go to each of our platforms and do so. It definitely helps both of us. And, for those of you watching live also, if you have questions or comments, just throw them in the chat and we'll either handle them as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. So we'll go ahead and start, Nick, with the first and really the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been a wrestling fan?
Sheesh, my whole life. So I'm 38, so probably since I was probably 4 years old, so about 34 years. So yeah, I grew up all through, I guess, was it considered the golden or the new era age with, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage, all those guys, and then grew up through the Attitude Era, really appreciating wrestling even more and seeing that boom, and even to today. So to today's era and everything that we've seen with John Cena and the last 25 years of that. So yeah, I've and wrestling's been the major part of my life. It's been wrestling and sports have been the two things I've loved the most.
Gotcha. So what would you say is your earliest wrestling related memory?
Good question. I think for some reason, not anything in particular, But I do remember, I don't remember which WrestleMania it was, but a lot of the Hulk Hogan King Kong steel cage match. I remember a lot of, I believe it was 92 SummerSlam with Ultimate Warrior and like, was it Rick at the time? A lot of those early memories, it's just kind of bundled into one. So a lot for me was Hulk Hogan, but actually probably the first one I could think of involves Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, and Ted DiBiase when Randy Savage first won the then WWF title with the help of Hulk Hogan, and he hits DiBiase in the back with the chair, and that's how Savage ends up winning. So that's probably one of the first memories. I remember watching that in like my parents' room and the short little TV, and just absolutely falling in love with it. That's probably my first memory now that I think about it really hard.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm a little bit older. I mean, I'm 56, and I've been a fan, varying levels of fandom at different points in my life, but I've been a fan since I was around 11. So, about 45 years. And so, I kind of grew up in the territory days, and I've gotten to see a lot of important things in at least modern wrestling history, kind of as they happened. I got to see the Monday Night Wars start to finish. Got to see the rise and
Yeah.
fall of ECW. But my earliest memory is, as a kid in Florida, watching the old Florida Championship Wrestling back in the early 80s with Gordon Soley doing the commentary. And the earliest feud I remember was Dusty Rhodes and Kevin Sullivan. And
Yeah.
when you're 11 years old, man, Kevin Sullivan was a scary dude. I mean,
Oh yeah. I know. Just right, Dungeon of Doom. Is that? Am I thinking that correctly? Yeah. With the task. Wait, was he Taskmaster? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. This was pre Dungeon of Doom, though. That was more
Right.
during his WCW run. Back then he had this whole Army of Darkness thing going, and he had kind of a satanic gimmick
Okay.
going
Was
on.
that? I was now. I'm remembering it because I remember hearing about the. It was basically loosely based, or maybe not so loosely based, off the Charlie Manson and the Manson family.
Yeah. He was sort of, in many ways, sort of the forefather to a lot of what Bray Wyatt did.
Right. Well, yeah,
So,
him and Mercy Whalen. Mercy Whalen,
yeah.
they said was really a big part of that too. And he took Bray Wyatt, who my personal favorite in the last 20 years, Bray Wyatt, absolutely. He took a lot of that character and the character from Cape Fear that Robert De Niro played. I don't know. I don't know the guy's name.
Yeah, I can't recall the character's name either, but man, De Niro was amazing in that movie.
Yeah, it's creepy. Yeah, that movie. He was creepy in that movie.
Yeah. So, what actually inspired you to want to do your live stream / podcast? What brought you to doing that? I know you're a journalist, but
Yeah. So, great question. So a lot of it is so I've had the channel for a while, probably over 4 years, since going back to my sports journalism days. So I've covered a lot of sports in New Jersey for 20 plus years, but ultimately I kind of use that as an outlet to cover things I love, like pro wrestling. And WrestleMania 29, when it rolled around to New Jersey, kind of gave me that opportunity to cover WrestleMania 29 and do a series of articles leading up to it. So I've always kind of had the channel, but over the last 2 years, Nikki, my wife, and I, and that's how the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour got formed. The Nick Club is Nikki and I. So it's kind of like the Bullet Club. It's a play off of that. So this is going back to, what's 2 years ago? 2023. We said, let's do some fun things for us. And every week long, we love wrestling. That's how Nikki and I got together. We got engaged on the Jericho cruise, for crying out
Oh, that's
loud.
cool.
Yeah, so it was pretty neat experience in general. So we said, let's find something we should do together. Let's turn this into a podcast. We talk wrestling all week, and we could just sit and BS at our bar, have a drink every Friday after, and blow off some steam after a long week of work. And let's people call in from around the country, our friends, whoever, and see what they want to think. And now it's grown to the point where we have people from around the world that call in with us every week. And that's exactly what, when we first started out, just a community. We don't really do it. Although I was a sports writer and did professionally for a while, I don't do that anymore. It's more of a hobby. And like this channel, the YouTube live stream is really just about building a community of great wrestling fans.
Got you. So how did you and Nikki meet?
Through an online dating app. So we met through an online dating app. I can't even remember. I think it was eHarmony. So a nice little plug for them. Get a good ad or sponsorship. But yeah, we met through there, and we kind of started messaging. And one of her big things was, she's like, I love pro wrestling. And she's like, hopefully that's not a deal breaker, because, as I'm sure you can relate, the audience of pro wrestling is not very heavily majority. So
Right.
So we kind of hit it off and started talking about that amongst other things, and one thing led to another, and here we are now. It seems like 7+ years later.
That's
married
awesome.
and life.
Oh, for sure. It's funny. I actually met my wife online as well. I mean, we've been married. We just actually hit 27 years.
Oh, congratulations! That's awesome.
So I mean, we met back in the mid 90s, and back then, the internet and everything wasn't what it is now. So back then, meeting somebody online was pretty unusual.
Yeah.
we actually met on AOL.
Wow.
So,
I still have AOL email at some, that I use from time to time. So people give me a hard time for it, but it still works.
Gotcha. So away from wrestling and all of this, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
Sheesh, I love sports, so as you could probably see behind me here, that I'm a big Jet fan, New York Jets fan, Mets fan, as well. Actually, earlier today, I got to have one of Met players of all time, Curtis Granderson, kind of come on. He's a big wrestling fan as well, come on the show. But yeah, I love music, love playing guitar. I have several guitars here that I play, and from time to time, just to amuse myself. But that's generally really what occupies my time, and I like a lot of the superhero stuff. So like the Marvel movies, all that, X-Men, all that type of stuff. So
Gotcha.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's funny when I started doing live streaming. I got started around January of 2024. And for about the first 6 months, I was doing this type of show, but I was talking with unsigned bands. I'm a hobbyist musician. I play bass and guitar. I'm actually looking over at my guitars right now. I've got an Ibanez 5-string bass that is just my baby. I just love. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You've got a nice collection there. But yeah, so yeah, music is definitely music and wrestling are my two huge passions.
And I've often, I don't know, not to cut you out, I don't know if you find this, but I've often found there's so many similarities between pro wrestling and musicians, and just like they're both very much independent contractors, how they sell merch and how they perform, like, there's so much the theatrics and the showmanship into it. Very
for sure. For sure. And there really is a lot of crossover in the fan base too. You know,
All right.
especially certain types of music. There's a
Yeah,
lot of crossover. Yeah.
metalheads are just all about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's been interesting. I've had a few wrestlers on the show that are also musicians. I, a few months ago, I actually had a guy on. He's an indie wrestler in Orlando, Florida, but he's also the drummer for a band called Set It Off. Um, a guy named Max Danziger. And so I mean, you know, he's having to basically balance a growing indie wrestling career with the fact that he's in a touring band that is, you know, playing festivals all summer, and you know,
Yeah, it's a
but
lot.
being able to actually talk shop with both wrestling and music with one guest is just really cool.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Well, what's it? The Butcher in AEW is the
yeah.
guitarist for I forget the name, like from Autumn to Adder, one of them. But yeah, he's in a pretty prominent, I think, metal band.
Yeah, Brody King is also in a metal band.
Oh, is he?
He is, yeah, yeah. He's the I can't remember the name of the band, but he's actually the singer, and he's in. I think it's like a metalcore band where it's more
Mm.
screaming type
Yeah.
vocals than so.
Wow.
But yeah, yeah. And you know, we're mostly a wrestling show, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture and such. So, and I'm always looking for recommendations. So, are you by any chance watching or listening to anything really cool right now?
Watching right. So right now, listening not really much. I'm not up to the date on more on today's music. I usually listen to more like the classical stuff and
Hmm.
the tried and true hits. But
Oh yeah.
to me, watching like right now, I just got finished binge watching Stranger Things season, what's it, 5 now. So that's one show that Nikki and I would like. We watch the same shows, so we kind of like wait to watch certain things. Like we're finishing up Gen V with like the boys. I don't know if you watch that show at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now, so like there's a couple shows that I'll watch on my own, and Stranger Things has been one I've watched for a while. So like that's kind of what I'm waiting to see how the ending of that all is going to pan out.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. I knew that this final season is coming out, but I know they're kind of breaking it into chunks. So I'm kind of waiting until it's all out, and then you know
Well,
I'll
I'll give you another one that just as a wrestling fan, right? I didn't watch it actually, and let me preface this: I didn't watch this because I'm a wrestling fan at all. I watched this because absolutely loved the game growing up. Twisted Metal on
oh yeah,
Peacock.
yeah. Samoa Joe's in that, isn't he?
Yeah, Samoa Joe plays
Yeah,
Sweet Tooth, or at least
yeah.
the physical form of Sweet Tooth. The voice is done by a pretty prominent actor. I'm blanking on his name right now. But that show, I absolutely adored the way that like they wrote. If you played the games and like you were into the games, like knowing the backstories of how they do it, it was curious to see how they would create this post-apocalyptic world that they created
Hmm.
for it, and the storylines and all the backstory that they created for each character was really, really awesome the way that they did it. So the first 2 seasons have been great. I'm looking forward. They just got picked up for a 3rd season, so I'm looking forward to seeing what now the 3rd season is going to yield.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Yeah, that's one that I've heard good things about. So I definitely need to carve out some time and actually give it a watch.
Yeah, it is really, really good. If you have the time, I strongly suggest it. It's an interesting concept, to say the least.
Gotcha.
But
So outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
Oof. Good question. I don't know. I mean, I get inspired by obviously my wife really inspires me because she's a hard worker. She kicks butt every day. She's working overtime upstairs as we're doing this, trying to get out some pieces for her role. So she really inspires me, in the way that she cares about people. But I think the women in my life, like so, my wife, my mother, have been the two people that have really I've looked up to, and then yeah, probably, and then obviously my brother's been really great. Oh, puppy.
Yeah, this is Lady. My wife calls her my Velcro dog.
Yeah.
She usually hangs out down here in the basement when I'm doing these, and she just came over and wanted some attention. So
Adorable. Have her show up more often. It's like ratings.
oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
great for ratings.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So so you mentioned you're in New Jersey, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So what is your favorite thing about Jersey?
Um, I think that what's great about New Jersey is that you're conveniently located to anything. Like New Jersey is such a eclectic state in the sense that you can go 5 minutes in any direction and you could be literally in the most rural area, or you could be in an urban city area. You're, from where we live, we're about an hour from New York City, literally, with, obviously not in
Hmm.
the same state, but like, um and you can go to beaches. Like there's so many, like the diversification of where you can, like, in the geography and the typography of the land, I think is really appealing to New Jersey. Other than that, it's a hard sell in a lot of ways. A lot of ways. Things are expensive in New Jersey. Real estate houses not great because I think we pay a lot of New York prices for things just for the proximity. But yeah, the state itself is very beautiful.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I've been to New York City a few times, and several years ago, I ended up having to take a work-related trip up for a conference at Rutgers down in Newark. So I mean that
Yeah.
Newark is my only really exposure to
Eh,
New Jersey.
it's not the greatest
Yeah.
example. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. You make one wrong turn. Literally, the airport is just probably sometimes the nicest area. But Newark does have phenomenal food. It does have great restaurants.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I basically just saw the airport and my hotel, and that was about it. I just basically
Yeah,
I had been told, don't wander around
yeah.
'cause-
Don't worry about it. It's the same thing. It's like Prudential Center is there. It's like you're one block off of Prudential Center. You're like, yeah, I'm good. I'll pay the extra
yeah,
$20 for parking.
yep. So tell us about the first wrestling show that you actually saw live and in person.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a Monday Night Raw. I'm trying to think of when it was. It had to have been a school night. So it couldn't have been over the summer. My parents took us. We were sitting right by the stage, and it was right after, I don't remember. The DX was good. So it was the New Age Outlaws were trying to regain, I think, the tag team titles from Kane and Mankind. I don't know if they won it like the night before or something like that, or they won it earlier the night. And I remember that was one of the biggest things. And I just remember we were sitting so close to the stage, and Kane's pyro was so loud. It was so obnoxiously loud. But yeah, that was the first live show I went to. And then since then, I mean, since then I've been a few, but I've been a few more AEW shows, I would think, than WWE shows, just because a little bit more affordable, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, the first live show that I actually got to see in person, I was in college, and it was actually a WCW Halloween Havoc pay-per-view at back in 1991 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and
Awesome.
and the highlight of the show was that they did this match where basically at the end of the match they had an electric chair at the
Oh my
edge of the ring, and they put Abdullah the Butcher in the electric chair.
I knew you were going to say this, because I knew I was like, because so ironically, as you saying that, so Nikki and I, we go to like, she has this thing where she wants to. I don't know how you sleep. Like I used to never sleep with anything on, like TV on, but Nikki loves to have the TV on. So we started putting stuff on to go to sleep, and so every month, usually we'll try and go with the theme of whatever WWE pay-per-view, if it's a big pay-per-view like Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, whatever, right? And yeah, like the month of like October, we'll go to Halloween Havoc, and yeah, that Chamber of Horrors match.
Yes, yeah,
Chamber of Horrors, yeah, which Cactus Jack, where he's the one who pulls the switch on, thinking it's I think Rick Steiner, because it's Rick Steiner, right? Was the person originally, and he did pulls the switch on him last minute. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, and it's also double nuts when you think back at it. Like in '91, few and far between with blood and gore and matches and stuff like that, and that was very taboo to do that back then, and that was really, really gory.
Yeah, it was. It was. And but what was funny is at the show, as you came in, they were giving out these glow in the dark plastic like Jason style hockey masks. So basically, I was there with 3 of the guys from my dorm floor in college. And so we come out with these hockey masks, and, being dumb college students, we decided after the show that the thing to do was to put on the hockey masks and go drive around in the hood. So, I mean, we're lucky we didn't get shot. But anyway, so what would you say is your biggest wrestling pet peeve? What bugs you?
I'm a bit. I mean, I'm a big stickler on faces and heels, but like I do understand that there is a tweener, element of things. But I do generally believe in faces and I also feel like I'm a purist in the sense of like I think there's way too many titles, and it dilutes a lot of the product. But pet peeve, that's a great, because I feel like in the moment there's things that as I'm watching it I'm like I hate that, and then as you ask that I'm like what's like there one things that I just can't stand, and there's not really like anything that I don't like off the top of my head that really annoys me, but like certain things like that, like I feel like there's clear cut storylines, faces and heels, or not that everyone needs to be a face or heel, but like just logic. I think there's holes in a lot of logical booking. Like the referees in a lot of cases just look like idiots all the time. Like,
yeah, they do. But I totally agree with you about all the belts, especially Tony Khan. I feel like he is belt happy. They
literally. This is one of the things we're going to probably talk about tomorrow. Is they literally broke up the Continental, or they unified the Continental and International titles just to put the Continental title back into the tournament again. So theoretically, they're going to have another title. Like, the idea was to merge them so you had less titles, but
yeah, and now they've got this national title. But whatever.
It's I call it the Oprah free belt giveaway.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you get a belt, and you get a belt, and you get a belt.
It's like they do the pre-show meeting. It's like under your seat, Tony Khan's just like, all right, it's a random drawing who gets the belt.
Yep. So, from your perspective, and this is really a very subjective question, but do you prefer that a talent be great in the ring or great on the mic?
Mike,
What do you feel is more important?
Mike, you have to talk me
Mike?
into it 100%, and it's actually something we talk about this a lot. My favorite all-time wrestler is Shawn Michaels.
Mhm.
And Shawn Michaels now obviously runs NXT, and what he
Right.
believes is 100%. I firmly believe this is he believes in building the stars through charisma, and he's like, you cannot teach charisma, but you could teach moves, and you can learn. Like Trish Stratus is a great example of someone who was terrible in the ring when she started, but had charisma, had a look, had that it factor, and took off, and she stuck with it, and look at where she's at, right? Arguably the
Yep.
greatest female of all time. So there's, to me, you have to have charisma because, and that's the problem I have a lot with a lot of AEW is that it's phenomenal wrestling, but you haven't talked me into watching it. Okay, you're going to give me a 5-star match, but you're going to give me 7 5-star matches that I don't really necessarily care about who wins, right?
Right.
Like, and you can only do that so much. So to me, to the short answer, yeah, I think charisma and talking people in their buildings means more than anything.
Gotcha. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan?
I don't think so. Yeah, like I'm trying to look back to like one that I would always. I don't really like because there's a blend like I remember. No, there's I really don't. I just like I think there's a bunch of memories to me,
Right.
but not necessarily like a singular match that I was like, yes, I want to go back and watch this whole match like at any point in time. It's more like I like the moments, a collection of moments together.
Gotcha.
Because like for instance,
So,
like the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart Iron Man match, I really enjoyed because I'm biased because I love Shawn Michaels and I wanted to see Shawn Michaels win that belt. And the fact that it was an hour-long match with two of the best at the peak of their careers, like that is arguably one of the best matches, in my opinion, ever. But would I say that that's my favorite match? Probably not.
gotcha. So, at this moment, in your opinion, who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the business? Who's the best man and who's the best woman?
Best woman I'd say is Becky Lynch because no matter what, right now, you could put her with anybody. Look at what just happened with Maxine Dupree,
Yeah.
and she'll get that person over. She'll have a good match with pretty much anybody. And she talks, like we were just talking about with the charisma aspect, she talks you into the room. Rhea Ripley's a close second, but I think that just in terms of ability and experience, I think probably it's because experience, I would put Becky ahead of Rhea. Male, best right now. If he was full time, but he's not even full time, I've really liked MJF stuff. I think when MJF's full time, he's probably the best in the world. He's a great wrestler. He proves it in the ring all the time. He's phenomenal on the microphone. But yeah, like WWE, like Cody Rhodes keeps you interested, but I think he's starting to stale a little bit. In a lot of ways, it's same old gimmick. So I'd say MJF is probably, but he's not full time. That's the only thing that kind of kills him.
Yeah. And I'm with you on Cody. I think the babyface Cody shtick is very played out at this point. I think honestly a heel turn would be great for him. You know, looking at his work over the years, my opinion, heel Cody is best Cody. So
Yeah, I think the problem is that they just don't have as many babyfaces, and they don't know who's going to replace him. But yeah, once he does, it's going to be a big time move, and it's going to be like
for sure.
a seismic shift for WWE. And I think it could potentially build up a legitimate big time babyface, which either could be Drew McIntyre come back, or I guess maybe Jacob Fatu, because I think he's going to be the guy who gets revealed as Jacob's attacker.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. So, what would you say is, everybody sort of has their preferences over this kind of thing, but what is your favorite move? What is a move that you just love to see done well?
I mean, I think a good DDT is done well. I always enjoy, but I mean, Canadian Destroyer looks really, really good. Like Penta does a Canadian Destroyer really, really well.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so like that move looks devastating. I'm trying to think like really good finishers that I love. Like, there's not even for me. It's more finishers. Yeah, there's not really like that. That I'd say Canadian Destroyer is probably the move I'd pop for the most. There's some moves like Cody did the Vertebreaker earlier this year, and I love that. Like that.
Yeah, he did that on Logan Paul, didn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he broke it out a second time against might have been like AJ or somebody else recently too. It just that move is such a nasty move, and I think it was Victoria who did it as a finisher in the women's division years back, and it's just such an awesome move to do.
I have said on several occasions on this show that I always get kind of a sick feeling in my stomach when I see a Vertebreaker being set up for, because it just looks like there are so many ways that move could go catastrophically wrong. I mean, back in the Attitude Era, they were throwing Vertebreakers around like it was candy. You don't see it as much these days, which I think in a lot of ways gives it more impact. Seeing a Vertebreaker get pulled out is such a rare thing now that it's actually in a lot of ways even cooler. But I still just kind of get this queasy feeling. I'm just like, just please don't die.
Yeah.
But and I'm with you on the DDT. I grew up as a kid just loving Jake Roberts, and I've hated over the years seeing the DDT get relegated to more of a mid-match setup move than a finisher. Because I mean, Jake would do a DDT and it looked like he just murdered a man. I mean. And now it's just sort of a setup move, and I just hate to see that.
Everybody uses and talk about one of the great promos cutters of all time.
Oh yeah,
and that's a great example, right? Like of what we were talking about with the Tony Khan thing, right? Of too many belts. Jake Roberts never won the world title. Did he win the Intercontinental title? I think maybe once.
I think he did.
Yeah, and in terms of accolades, though. Stardom, like when you talk about Hall of Fame, like everyone knows Jake Roberts, comparatively, and did he need the belt to be as dominant as he was, as the great heel that he was, the foil that he was for so many times, for so many years? No, like he talked you into the matches, and you just had the rivalries, right? Like the Randy Savage rivalry that he had. It was just him and Savage. There wasn't a belt in between. It was him, Savage, and what he did with him with Miss Elizabeth and all that stuff. Like, it was great. So I don't know. It can be written that actually that now that might be my big pet peeve is just the way storylines are written. There's such an over reliance on belts just as an excuse for a match, and instead of creating a compelling story.
Agreed. So here is a question that's kind of a bit of a hot take, a little bit of controversy here. TNA has announced their new media rights deal, and they're going to be going to AMC. And AMC is definitely going to give them way more of a footprint than they've had with Access TV. And with the talent base that they have, particularly if they go to weekly live TV, do you think TNA is in a position to potentially leapfrog AEW into the number 2 slot?
Well, it depends, because I think the time slot that they got is a Friday at like 9. I thought I heard.
They're not keeping the Thursday time slot.
Or are they? Or maybe they are. Hold on, let me. That's what I'm. AMC. I haven't. I gotta look this up.
I thought I saw they were keeping them on Thursday night.
Yeah, I just want to see, because I just want to see the time slot. Let me see. Okay, you're right. You are right. So it's Thursday night from 9 to 11. Now, so would they comparatively? It's probably, I would say, a lesser. So I worked in TV for a half a year in media buying, and a lot of the advertising spots are based off of different, the time slots, right? And what are better prime time slots? So prime time's 8 to 11. So 9 to 11 is a pretty good slot, right? It is relatively similar. I think in terms of eyeballs, the short answer to your question, no, I don't think they will overtake AEW. The reasoning behind it is because the network that they're on doesn't have the bandwidth and that Turner does, that TBS does. So they're going to still have more eyeballs in AEW. And secondly, I don't think the night that they got, I think Thursday night is slightly less watched than Wednesday night is in general in terms of viewership. Usually big nights used to be Monday night, Wednesday night. Like Thursday night is a decent night too. Friday nights are bad. Saturday nights are bad because everyone's going out. Sunday nights are really good. So Sunday night, Monday nights were really the prime nights. Like look at Sunday night football, Monday night football, right? And then you look at probably Wednesday, Thursday. So they might be on a pretty close par. But those two factors, I would probably give the edge still to AEW. And the other thing is finances. They don't have the budget that Tony Khan has.
True. He's got his dad's money.
Yeah. So the problem though that I have with it is that you can have all that money in the world, but you have to invest it in the right things. And I think the problem with Tony is he's the one writing and doing most of the booking. And I know he's got a couple right-hand mans, but I think he needs to get a real solid creative mind in there that just knows the business and he could just hand it off to it and just spend the money, get the right person, however much it is, and don't tinker.
Right. I had actually hoped that he was going to get into business with Scott D'Amore when he left TNA.
Like that's the guy.
That would have been a good get for Tony Khan, but apparently that didn't happen. So
exactly, but like that's what I'm saying. It's like if you invest it, just like anything else with any other sport, right? Like if you get baseball, you invest in the right manager, you don't necessarily need as great a talent, but you have the talent already there. And AEW is great roster. It's just building it, writing it the right way, and setting up their shows the right way.
Absolutely. So, what is your take? I've seen all kinds of stuff, on the web since it happened. But what is your take on Braun Breaker's promo on Monday?
It was okay. It was good, but not like earth shattering. I wouldn't call it a pipe bomb by any stretch. I thought it was good. He needs his moment to prove himself as a breakout star and a main event star without Paul Heyman. So he needs to be able to cut his own promo, right?
Right.
But it wasn't earth shattering. Like I think a lot of people think that it was a big deal because he cursed in it at the end. He made a comment about AJ Lee and like, okay, like some of it's a little risque, not really. I thought it was okay. If I were grading it, I'd give him a B-. I wouldn't say like, I wouldn't write home to anybody about it. But like, you have to see this. Because
Right.
people
right.
were messaging me, be like, you have to see this. And I rewatched it just to be like, maybe I missed something. And I was like, I don't know.
Well, it was funny, I was watching it with my wife Julia, and like I said, she's a fairly new fan, and so we sat there and watched it, and then she turns to me afterward and she goes, "The whole time I was so concerned that he was going to have a stroke."
Yeah. Like he was just screaming.
And yeah, and so at that point, I had to put on YouTube and take her down the Scott Steiner rabbit hole, and I was like, "This is where he gets it from," and she was like, "Okay, I understand now."
I know he's even like speaking so fast for himself. He's like, "It's like slow down, calm down, breathe."
Yep. So, another, semi hot take. What was your overall opinion of Survivor Series?
Fun, but not like earth shattering. I'm not gonna call it one of the greatest of all time or anything like that. But I wouldn't say it was the worst of all time either. Fairly predictable. Finish, I think, with certain components like the bookend of like the big storyline of the mystery attacker.
Oh,
if it doesn't end up being a big name, they might as well have revealed it on Saturday.
Right.
But I'm happy that Dom Mysterio won the title back. I'm a huge Liv Morgan fan, so all that really entices me and excites me because I think we could be seeing this megastar run for Liv Morgan coming, and I'm curious to see where Dom Mysterio ends up in all of it because the two of them have been arguably the biggest stars on Raw in the last year, 18 months.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So who do you think the mystery man is going to end up being? I've seen a lot of Austin Theory, but
I love Chris Jericho being a mystery person.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's
I think it just makes so much more sense. And it would be a good reveal. It'd be a big pop. Fans would go nuts for it. He has a history with CM Punk.
Yep.
It's a nice play.
Yeah. I think the longer they go without making the reveal, the better chance that it is Jericho, because supposedly Jericho's still under contract until the end of the year. So, if they can go a few more weeks, without making the reveal, then yeah, I think it's probably Jericho.
The only thing that they have to do, and this is one of the biggest things that I think it can't be someone like I joke, but it can't be Omos, right? Like you know what I mean? Like obviously, like make it believable. Like it has to be someone with a similar body type, right? Like they're not gonna like come out and be like, because I've had people like argue with me, like, well, why couldn't it be just name X random person that you want? You know, like it's like, well, no, they have to fit the bill of the body type of the person. It can't be Otis. Like,
I saw a meme earlier today that cracked me up that it was Vince.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was Vince.
Vince or Shane.
Yeah. I know some people said John Moxley, though. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, get real.
Yeah.
So, knowing everything that you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Be patient. Hang in there. Take your time. Things get better.
Yep, they do. They do. So, over the years of your wrestling fandom, do you have, in terms of just the visual of a show and such, do you have a favorite venue that you love to see a wrestling show done in?
Not particularly. I'm trying to think if there is like are you talking about like a city or like a arena or just like
City and or arena.
Yeah, I mean, not particularly because like I've seen shows, right? Like MSG is the biggest and closest to us, and like I've seen shows there, and like even like the bias of being so close, I wouldn't say that like there's any bigger allure to MSG than there is to watching WrestleMania in Sun Life Stadium in Florida. Like there's certain ambiances that I think that places yield, but with WWE, I don't like everywhere that they've brought the production, they set up their own stage and everything else. So like I wouldn't consider a specific venue associated like the ECW arena maybe just because of the way that like that the history with everything there, but I don't associate like a specific venue or arena really with like wrestling because everything's so unique to that year. Like you look at WrestleMania sets and all that stuff, like it's unique to that year and that location or whatever the theme of the pay-per-view is, like Deadly Game or was it like Backlash? They'll have some weird. What's it that the one year they had the hook or whatever it was?
Oh yeah.
Someone jumped on it. I can't remember who it was, but someone jumped on it and like did a move off of it as it was swinging back and forth.
Yeah. I'm actually in a venue that I just think is really cool is the Tokyo Dome. I love seeing the Wrestle Kingdom shows there. And the Japanese fans are just such a different breed than American fans. It's a different environment over there for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's more sport, right? Like that's kind of the thing. And they're so into like really into kayfabe.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very into kayfabe and very into the technical nature of the wrestling, So something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. And So a previous guest of mine posed this question, and that is, based upon what you are doing with your show and your platform, what is your aspiration for the next 6 months? What do you see in terms of what you want to do and how you want to grow?
Just consistency. We'd love to see, people like yourself, just more regulars kind of calling in Friday at 6 Eastern, just, letting us know what they think of the week in wrestling. So for me, it's consistency and growing the community. That's really big, and seeing who else we can kind of, bring into our fun little, environment here. Like I said, like today, I wouldn't have expected to talk to MLB legend Curtis Granderson, about wrestling, but he's a huge wrestling fan. Earlier this past year we had on Tony Richardson, ex New York Jet. There's people, and we talked beforehand, like Karrion Cross, that I never would have expected in a million years speaking to and chatting wrestling with. So in 6 months, like, it's exciting to see where we go, who we talk to, who comes on, and that's really what I guess 2026 is going to yield, is a lot of new things for us, and really taking it to a whole other level with, we do a lot of things with, it's a bar themed show, right? It's a call-in show, but it's a
Mhm.
bar themed show where we talk about everything that's going on that week. So we want to hear from everybody, but we're also bringing a lot of bar games in. So we did wrestling categories a couple weeks ago. We have a couple games coming up. Pillar Push or Part I have coming on. It's a take on the I shouldn't the F Mary off someone game that some
Oh
the
yeah.
kids play. So something like that. We have The Price is Right coming up. So we're doing a lot of different game shows and ideas that we're incorporating into the show. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Earlier this year we did fantasy wrestling. I introduced to the group. So I'm excited to see what's next in terms of the evolution of the show.
Nice, nice. Looking over at the Instagram chat, actually, a guy that's coming up on my show in the next several weeks, Dallas Dash, is over in the Instagram chat, and he's saying hello to both of us. So,
What's up, Dallas?
we're about at the end of things here. So, put your show over, and definitely let us know what's coming up, and if you got anything to hype, do it.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, Matt. And again, thanks for having me and making sure the door is not forbidden, so to speak, here. But yeah, so it's my name. It's Nick Teodoro is the channel here on YouTube, so you can just look that up. The podcast, the show is called the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. It's myself and my wife. Friday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We recap the week, AEW, WWE, and wrestling. We take call-ins towards the end of the show. Want to know what you all think of the week. Comments are read throughout the show, but we have, like I mentioned, game shows, different things, fantasy wrestling, all different bar themed activities going on throughout the show. Nikki reads non-kayfabe news if someone's real life injured, things like that. So a lot of fun going on. So that's at Nick Teodoro if you want to find it. That's on all. Nick Teodoro is on all my socials as well. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you all. And Matt, you came on a couple weeks ago. It was great having you. We'd love to have you back. Always welcome. But yeah, again, thanks for having me.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And as far as what we've got coming up here on the Throwdown, this coming Monday, the 8th, at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 180. And our guest is a Florida-based pro wrestling ring announcer, Matthew Lloyd. He is working a lot of the independent shows pretty much all over Central Florida, and just a really good dude. And I've discovered recently that he and I are both huge fans of the band Rush. So we're going to be going down a Rush rabbit hole, no doubt, in our conversation. So definitely looking forward to that. And then on Tuesday, the 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern, episode 181. And our guest is a Florida-based but very well-traveled pro wrestler, Rachel Lay. She has competed in OVW, the NWA, and indies pretty much all over the country. So definitely excited to have her on and pick her brain a bit. And then next Saturday, the 13th, 2 p.m. Eastern. So, special early start time, episode 182. And our guest is a UK-based pro wrestler, Big Deal Dante. He actually wrestled a guest that I actually had on this past Sunday, Martin Cardia. They actually had a match. I believe it was actually last Friday for the prize junior heavyweight championship. So I'm definitely interested to talk to him next Saturday and kind of get his perspective on how it all went.
Nice. It's exciting.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of stuff in the works. So definitely keep an eye on my socials. I try to announce people about a week or so in advance, and right now we are booked. We're unofficially putting the show on hiatus for the second half of December, just because the holidays get extremely busy for everybody. But we're coming back in early January, and we've got most of the month of January already booked. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So like I said, just keep an eye on our socials because definitely some big things are coming. But Nick, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks
And
all
for
mine.
those of you that are watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, definitely do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until Monday, when we'll be back at 7 p.m., be good to each other, love each other,